Hey everybody, Texas Stroker here, Lance's Performance Shop, Mopars.com, and this is something a little different, and it's also something a little overdue. This is a video that I've wanted to make for, I guess, several years now, and that ship kind of sailed, but we're kind of going to go into Icon tools. And Icon, of course, when they first came out, there's a huge rush, fools rush in, as I like to say, but it's a situation you kind of let the dust settle. You formulate your own opinions based on other people jumping in, what you can see in store, all those sorts of things. And I make this video not as like a massive Harbor Freight fanboy, but also not as someone that hates Harbor Freight. If you watch my videos, you would know that we have a very odd, eclectic assortment. I mean, we go from the finest in German tools and, high-end Japanese tools to old-school American, and we bring in a lot of stuff from Harbor Freight. And truth be told, I buy everything in good faith, either from first-hand experience or curiosity. And I don't really have a lot of bad stuff. Like, even going back way before I was making YouTube videos, I've got Harbor Freight stuff from when I was college age, bench grinders, stuff like that. It is still humming along just fine here at the house. So that's kind of a quick little background for you. This would have been way better to make when I wanted to make it, and it was when I had no Icon tools. And I'd always get questions like, "Hey, when are you gonna check out the Icon stuff? Want to see what you think on this Icon? When are you gonna get the Icon screwdrivers?" And I still, even with the backlogged videos that I've got ready to go that I've not released, there's right now, as if you can see the time down there in the corner, February 21st, 2023, there is no Icon screwdriver. And we're going to kind of go into that. So main thing here, I want to kind of just float this as one of those things. If you just want to listen to it, you can. I know a lot of you do that. Might put some of you to sleep. You're welcome. Might put some of your wives to sleep. Double welcome. But, it's also pretty interesting. I'll try my best to keep this relatively short in part because I've got to edit it before I work out and shower. So slow internet makes everything a dreamboat over here. But let's jump in right here where we're at. All right, you got the backstory, and we're just going to roll with it now. We're looking at 3/8 SAE deep, 12-piece set. Okay. Cool. What's going on here? Do you need this? I thought you had Capri. We do have Capri. And I think the videos may have released, but I'll just say we have some Icon impact sockets. Haven't had them long, haven't gotten to use them much. Of course, nothing to formulate an opinion like, oh, hey, this is just as good as Ryder Proto from work. Nothing like that. But they're pretty nice sockets. What I love about them is they're a step up their chrome moly. I'm big on that. That means a lot to me for reasons I have discussed numerous times. But right now at work, I've got a situation going on where, I've been doing a ton of motors recently. You see the stack of staples I have. But I take pictures and don't really post them to Instagram. Anyway, I'm at a point where right now, every single time I put a lift hook on, particularly big motors, it's going to be a 5/8 bolt, so we need a 15/16 socket. I'm still spinning those by hand, okay? And it's kind of tedious, like you got two bolts, a lift hook, it kind of gets uneasy. You're doing this, floating off of a crane. It's, it's cumbersome and tedious. I've gotten kind of used to, using the little Hercules ratchet and zipping lag screws in and out. I've even started doing it with the hex plugs. I always did those with a T-handle, and I was like, I might save a little time, and they're not really going to ever come out. So I've gotten quite happy with just zipping that stuff in and out and getting it done a little quicker. And I need, as you might have guessed here, a 15/16 socket, right? You think, well, hey, you've got one sitting on your ratchet over there. I do, but it's 1/2-inch drive. That's what I would typically use for 15/16, right? In this case, there's not. My Hercules ratchet is the limiting factor here. It's 3/8 drive. There's not a 1/2-inch drive. I don't really have to run an impact back there. I guess I could if I wanted to. But the ratchet is what I use for everything else because it's super ridiculous lag screws, tight spaces, hard to reach, long neck ratchets, perfect. So what would be ideal for me is a 15/16 deep socket. It needs to be deep so I can clear the lift hook on the big motors. And there's one here. Like, this set is great. It's kind of like the Capri, very comprehensive. Only thing better is like if we started at quarter, but this is a very, very comprehensive 3/8 drive set. The thing is, you're like, okay, well, yeah, just run in the store, buddy, and grab your 15/16. That's my first thing with Icon. They do not have standalone tools. I cannot go in a Harbor Freight. I can't come on the website even and order a standalone. It would be this guy right here, or maybe this one, probably this one, because I'd assume that's the one. I would love to just buy that, and it would be super reasonably priced. I mean, you're looking at like a 12-piece set for $55, so I mean, you're 10-ish a socket, you know, or I'm sorry, 5-ish. So super good deal in my opinion, and I'd love to have it. That would put a lot of paces on it. I could be testing it out as I go. You get more use than it does here at home, yada yada. I can't do that, and that's really unfortunate to me, because that is, I believe, a gateway for people. You come in and you say, well, hey, you know, you mentioned not having an Icon screwdriver. I don't, for the same reason. You can only get a set. We'll expand on that here in a little bit. But if I actually come in, and this isn't on every Icon set, which is also super confusing, but we can come down here and you can see replacement parts are in stock, or they say they are, right? And so if we click that, it brings this up. Now, if you're looking for this, I'm going to tell you right now, not every set has this, which is bizarre, but it's just the way it is. Right here, this is what I want. I want 24431 for $552. Like, every socket's the same price, which is kind of crazy too. Like me, I'm getting a heck of a deal. If you want 7/16 and a half inch, not a bad price, but when you know that like the guy that buys 7/8 and 15/16 spent the same money, you're probably a little envious, right? You know, got a way bigger socket than me. And I would totally give Harbor Freight $552 for that, because it would make my life super easy. And again, I'm limited by my drive size there. I would spin them in way quicker. I'm very particular. As soon as I do that, I go down with the hoist, and then I'm going to pick it up vertically, right? So I'm going to use that lift hook now in conjunction with the one that was already on. So yes, it would get torqued, but this would run it down for me, and it would run it down way faster than I can with a little 1/2-inch ratchet. So I don't know how. I guess you'd have to call to even see if you could do this, and then they're probably going to tell you it's not in stock. I don't know. If anyone's done this, let me know. And it might be, this is another deal we'll get into. There's going to be another bit of dialogue that comes in the same box here in just a second. Now, what we're going to do now is jump to a competitor. I've got Capri sockets. Again, I'm big on 1/2-inch. I want that, you know, like super hardcore serious stuff, so it's proto and right. But here at the house to play around and test things, I was like, you know, let's see what Capri can do. And so we have the same setup here, like if I can find it. 3/8 right here, 5/16 to 1, just like Harbor Freight. Harbor Freight's actually got a little better price even. Fantastic, you see. Well, here's the deal. With Capri, if we cycle down here, I can come in here and we can get, it might actually be page 2, of course, to make things cumbersome. Semi-deep, I could do semi-deep too, but you know, like all this stuff is here, and if you don't understand what it is, I'm going to go to deep, SAE, impact, obviously, right? So I can come in and I can click 3/8, because that's what my Hercules ratchet is, and I can come in, obviously if we click this, it's not available. You know, that's going to be 1/2, 3/4. But my 15/16 that we know is in the set, it's available, and it's $8.99, which is significantly more than Harbor Freight's $5.52. Not significant, but I mean it's more. But the bottom line is, these are similar sets, similar price points. The thing I love about Capri, they're chrome moly as well. They're actually done a little bit better. They have laser etching, which the Icons don't, which is something that I think they should. The stamping is also in the orientation I personally prefer, but again, that's preference. Also, the knock-on Capri would just be that. I prefer chamfered. All that aside, though, that's not what this video is about. I can come in right now and I could buy this. In fact, I tried to buy this 2 weekends ago on Zorro, and I was super happy. It was like $7. I was saving money. And then I found out, I'm like, why is it charging me that? That's like bait and switch. They're charging me like $14 for that. And I realized they would only let me buy them 2 at a time. So I would totally buy a shallow and a deep to get just standalone 3/8 drive 15/16, but I don't want to buy 2 deep. You know, it's not that big of a deal. I'd probably lose the backup before I lost the one I'm using, type of a thing. So, this is a win for a place like Capri. Tecton would be the same way. But here, Harbor Freight, I mean, I'm willing to give them a run with 15/16. How do I get it? I can't walk in the store and do it unless it's like some special order through the manager. What the point is here is if you have every socket on every peg, they're going to be stolen. It's super hard to do inventory. It's cumbersome. Keep them in the back. I mean, just ship out, 20 spare sets to stores, whatever you have to do, and just let those be standalone. Or if a guy comes in and you've lost your half and your 9/16, or you shattered a 7/16 and you want to buy one, you're going to get it warranted, but then you want to buy a backup because it happens all the time to you for whatever reason. They should be able to, at the store, at the local level, they've got a nice network of brick and mortar stores, sell you standalone individual tools, in this case, sockets. So that's where we're going to end there. Again, individual tools is where we want to go. Actually, we want to go to the water. Delicious. So, right here, this we've actually got a video on. This is the 7-piece SAE ratcheting set. Again, I like it because it's reversible. Again, pretty comprehensive here, going 3/8 to 3/4. Quarter 5/16 would be nice. They don't have that. I would love to see it. I get, this is the bread and butter. These 7 sizes are going to do most of what people need done. I would love to see them add the standalone here for the same reason. I want to have quarter. I want to have 5/16. I might want to have 2 9/16. You never know what people are doing. And you already have the product, you just don't have it available standalone, right? So if we come up here, so I'm going to go back here, and I told you you're going to pay attention to this dialog box: replacement parts in stock, call to order, and a PDF to view available. Come right back where we were. Replacement parts in stock. You idiot, it says the exact same thing. Well, check this out. There's another box with a red. Get your attention, red. Replacement sizes available with proof of purchase. So I don't know if this box is supposed to also be on this page. So if I did call or email or whatever and said, hey, sell me, blank, blank, and blank, here's the part numbers. I mean, I could come in here and I could be super customer number 1 and just copy and paste everything I want. Basically send in like a purchase order to them. I don't know if they're going to tell me, well, hey, we have to have proof of purchase. And for me, that would be a problem in that case because we went Capri, right? And they could sell me 7/16 half, 9/16, 3/4, 7/8, and 15/16, to try out or compare type of a thing in my situation. And I don't know if they'll do it without proof of purchase. Obviously this protects them a little bit. I'm not saying people are going to scam them. I'm just saying it protects Harbor Freight, from like having to piecemeal stuff. But at the same time, $120, not a bad price for 7 ratcheting wrenches, particularly that are reversible. And you have to realize these are long pattern. But it's a situation where if you're coming in and you're trying to supplement something or fill out a cart, or you've changed fields, or you just want something not quite snap on at home, at work, but something good at home that doesn't break the bank type of a deal, you might be a little leery of spending $120 on this, right? And so if you could just buy your most frequently used, we'll say half or 9/16, you would do that. And then if you're like, man, this is actually really nice, it looked good in the store, messed around with it, but now that I've had, a couple of months with it, I think I'm ready to buy the set. And you're going to go in there and not just buy this set, but you'll probably get the metric and maybe stubbies and long ones, who knows, right? Big sizes. And so I think they're kind of shooting themselves in the foot not having standalone tools available. And like I said, I very well could maybe call in here, and are they going to tell me, oh, hey, you want to buy that socket? Where's your proof of purchase? I don't know. It's kind of a mystery right now. I guess we'd have to try it. If you want me to try that, let me know. But it would kind of suck to buy a $5.52 socket and then spend like $6.99 or more on freight. Again, they actually, unlike Capri and Tecton, which are like mail order internet-based companies, Harbor Freight has an advantage in brick and mortar stores, sort of like a Napa type of a deal, right? So my advice is take advantage of that, even if it's a deal where you could go into the store and order the standalone tool, and they're like, well, hey, we don't have that in stock, but we're going to get it on the next truck, blah blah blah, it'll be here within a week, and hey, cool, I don't have to pay freight type of thing, right? So that said, like I mentioned, we have this. I'd love for those to be standalone too. And again, I might like these so well. I'm like, man, I'd really like to have 7/16 half and 9/16 extras, for whatever reason. And I don't know, I guess I could get it with proof of purchase, which is just kind of bizarre, just sell me the freaking wrench. So coming in, this stops at 3/4. And you're like, oh, hey, they do have the bigger sizes here. Again, here's the deal, okay? And this one gets really bizarre. All right, we'll just come in right here. So you sit here and you've got an inch. If you can't read that, it's 1.25 inches, okay? Let's just break that down to 64ths. Okay, how do we get there? Times 16. So this is 1 16 64ths, 1.125 I use that size a lot. Here's the thing. Get it 64ths, 8. 1 8 64ths. So 16 and 8, obviously, bigger, smaller. And then we got 1/16. How do we get that there? Times 4, so 4 64ths. So obviously, boom, 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 right? Big, medium, and little for these 3 wrenches. Makes sense. 0 64ths on this guy. It's even smaller. So we're coming in next, and we have 15/16, right? And then right here, we have 7/8. And you're thinking like, wait, that other set stopped at 3/4, didn't it? Well, let's go to the picture, sir. 3/4 of an inch. So if we're sitting here and we're at 16ths, we know this is 11/16. 3/4 goes to 12/16. So 13/16 is next, right? You're like, oh, they skipped 13/16. No, they didn't. It's right here. It's on this side of the 7/8 for whatever reason. And this is what troubles me. I don't know if when they laid this out, they were just skipping 13/16. They're like, nobody uses that. And they thought this was 15/16, or clearly this is designed to go, small to large, right? 1.25 is the king, all the way down to the peasant, 13/16, which is here instead of there. But that becomes even more troublesome, especially for me. And this is not me picking on Harbor Freight. I said this with SK's X-frames for many, many years. 2 things I wanted. Number 1, a switchable version, but number 2, just expand the sizes. Okay, I think those stopped at 3/4 as well, maybe 7/8. I don't know. I think 3/4. It's been a while, but it's a situation where sell bigger sizes, you nuts. There's a demand for this stuff. In this case, 15/16 is gone. It should be here. This guy needs to jump over this direction. He's out of place. So this bigger set that'll take you all the way up to 3/4 hardware, 3/4 heavy hex in this case, and 3/4 here. We don't have 15/16. That's one of my most used wrenches at work. 5/8 everything, and I can't get it. It's not available standalone. It's not even available in the set. I do not understand this. I hope that they rectify this or add on to it, and this would then need to become a 7-piece large size set. I don't know what was going on. I don't know if it's a metric lost in translation thing and conversion factors. That is bizarre though. 13/16, I don't use it often, but I'm sure some people do, and it would be nice to have, especially if you're buying 2 sets of ratcheting wrenches type of a thing. You go and switch, it's an investment, right? So it's insane. And then if we come in down here, you're like, well, just see if you can order the 15/16 standalone. Well, let me take you back. Okay. Right here, we scroll down and you get product overview, replacement parts in stock. We come over here to the small sizes, through 3/4, product overview, replacement parts, and then right here, proof of purchase required. We come over here to the large ones, and we're like, well, maybe they screwed up and you can get a 15/16, product over, there's nothing. So I don't know what's going on. I'd love, again, I would buy a 15/16 out of this set. I'm not trying to be super cheap, but I would use 7/8. I would definitely use 15/16, and then I would buy these 2, 1.125 and 1.25. I don't need 1 maybe once in a blue moon type of thing. Something's rusted and it fits better. I don't know. I know somebody's going to say, oh, it fits oil filters. Okay, well, I don't need necessarily a ratcheting wrench for that, right? So cheapskate me, I would totally be game for 7/8. I'd buy multiple 15/16s and I'd get these guys, and I'd be super happy, and I'd have a nice set of ratcheting wrenches, but I can't do that. It's crazy. So moving, and again, like I said, you know, like, what's going on here, this missing area? Can you not, like, let's say that you straight up just lose the 1 1/8. You've been using this set on the daily, you do bigger stuff or diesels or something, you know, old school stuff, I don't know, 80s equipment. Just don't shoot the messenger, but you use this. That's why you bought it, right? And an 1 1/8 is your bread and butter size. You use 3/4 on everything. It's like your 3/8 for everyone else type of a deal. What if you just straight up lost it? What do? Do you have to buy a new set? I mean, there's no box here, you know, it's a mystery. And I'd love to see that sort of come to a non-thrilling conclusion, that we will sell standalone sizes to you. Moving on right here, okay, we're getting into the ratchets, and this is where we get into element number 2, sort of. All right, we're gonna do the boring one first, and then hey, that'd be cool, second. But icon ratchet, you don't have an icon ratchet, you're saying? Nope, I sure don't, and you're gonna find out why here in a second. And it's not for reasons you think. So this is the icon, $44.99. You sometimes can get coupons on them, make a pretty good buy, right? People have had them, they've corrected issues, supposedly gotten better. Come in right over here, and I'm not going to say we're going to tear this down and it's the same thing as a Pittsburgh Pro or anything. You know, it's basically 20 bucks less, but look at this, okay? It's primarily black, you know, like overmold of a red handle. We come in back to the icon, and it's like an inverted color scheme. You say, well, hey, that's what icon is. You know, that's the icon color. Okay, well, here's where I'm going with this, and I'll just take it right here. This is Daytona, heavy-duty ratcheting jack stands. And you're thinking like, oh, that's sharp, you know, and I like that. Yellow is good for safety. I definitely see that under my vehicle, unlike black, you know, or the dark blue that AutoZone tries to sell me. Or you're like, whoa, green. Hey, that's my favorite color. I'd buy that. These are jack stands for $49, okay? And they take up considerably more warehouse space than a ratchet. And you can get them in 5 different colors, which is super cool. I have 0 complaints on that. I'd love to see like purple and pink and crazy stuff, and white, as weird as it is, I think would sell. But like, this covers me. Blue, green, and orange, and yellow and black. I mean, that's like, hey, I've got nothing to complain about. So why are these mentioned? Well, I get Pittsburgh Pro being this color configuration. I understand Icon having this color configuration. But in my opinion, this is not me making something up. This is Harbor Freight. This is their tool truck equivalent. This is the step above, all right? The Pittsburgh Pro. And you can get bare handle, of course, which is great. But that's it. If you want a comfort grip, as they say themselves, comfort grip, in the Icon line, you get red and black. Red over black. Might not be a huge deal to some people. I mean, it wouldn't affect the performance any, but what if everyone at work has these? What if you're a lube tech and, you know, all your buddies are buying these and y'all are going to class after, you know, you get off work type of a thing, you know, and going to try to get jobs at the dealership and make a ton of money? Do you want to confuse your wrench with Brandon and Stan's? What if your favorite color is green and what if Stan's one of those like yellow people or high vis weirdos, you know? Sell it. You know, this is the deal. Like, I've waited. This is where we get into like the cool part. Like, I have waited to purchase this, not necessarily because like, oh, they've got issues. No, it wasn't anything about that. In fact, that's probably a way better video if like you get something that sucks or binds up on you while you're just bench testing it. But I have waited, like, where's blue? Where's green? Where's the orange? Where's the yellow? You know, like, you come over here and it's like you've got jack stands from Daytona. We've got floor jacks from Daytona. Obviously not in as many colors, but you can still, like, if you want high vis under the vehicle, don't get black. You've got options. If you're orange, it's your favorite color, you just prefer it, or all the other guys have blue and red and you're like, ooh, I'm going to get green. This is a jack. This is heavy. I mean, this again takes up even more space and more weight than the jack stands, and you've got color options. So my thing is, why, after all this time, I totally get launching with this. I totally get like red and black as the official colors of Icon type of a thing. But at this point in time, I genuinely believe they should have had multiple color offerings. Because again, this is Pittsburgh Pro. You don't have to do it. I'm totally fine with this. You know, you're not targeted at the Mac guy, the Snap-on guy, the Matco guy, and the Cornwell guy, who all will sell you. I don't know that Mac does, actually. But that's beside the point. Like, if you go on the Snap-on truck and you want a high-vis handle, you can do it. And you've got multiple handle options. And I bring this up again because this is Harbor Freight's own marketing. They want this to compare to Snap-on. Where's that section? It's probably here somewhere. It's usually in this area, you know, and it shows how much money you save and all the comparison stats and everything, right? But what would it hurt them to just, I mean, it's the same ratchet. It's just a handle would change. That's like the cheapest thing we could change there. And it might bring in sales. Some of you might be like, oh, I'm not going to buy that. But if this was green, I know there's people out there. I know how the green tool people are, right? You would buy this. Not because you think it's going to be a good ratchet or you necessarily want to try it. You buy it because it's green and you're in the store, you know? And then the thing is, by doing that, and one thing they do that's nice on the ratchets, imagine if you had to buy a 1/4, 3/8, and a half flex head set or fixed head set or a 1/4 fixed and 1/4 flex. Like, these aren't locked down in a set, you know, like some of the wrenches, screwdrivers, etc. are. But at this point in time, they should have totally had multiple color options, maybe even like multiple handle options as well. So that's kind of my take on that, and that's legitimately why I don't have an Icon ratchet. There's many times I've nearly done it, and I'm like, you know what? No, as soon as I buy this, they're probably going to release like blue or green, and I'll feel like an idiot. So I'm holding out hope, and I truly believe they need to do that because of where they're positioning this and who they're trying to compete. Whether you think it's junk, whether you think it's just as good, or whether you think it's better, that is something that is lacking in the battle against the tool truck is personalization. Again, you might be the green guy, come in and you're the manager, you're the purchasing person, you're the shop foreman. If you're constantly having tools move from A to B, and I should have had a tab open for earthquake ratchets. Okay, let's do that, because you're thinking like, oh, that's crazy. No one needs to do that. Well, this is a bad example. Well, right here, it bails me out. So this is new. This is smaller. I actually probably ought to pick one of these up. I've used a little XT guy. I've been not the colored one, like the precursor to this, I guess. But what I want to showcase here is, like, let's say that you've got a teardown area for repairs, and you want it, you know, it's filthy and nasty, so you're going to do gray. And then let's say that you've got like assembly line type of a thing going on. You could have red at this station, and then finish out the door, final inspection type of a thing, you have green. If you're buying for employees, it's like, okay, well, you know, Carl's favorite color is green, Stan's favorite color is orange. No one knows anything about that guy, he never speaks, he gets gray. Okay, there is a beauty in the colors, and it's also a thing where they'll do it because, again, you might see this and your other option, let's say Ingersoll Rand was this, and you're like, man, I don't like that, but you love blue. There's a sale, right? You know? So, and the other reason I wanted to showcase this is if you're like, man, that's ridiculous to ask a store to come in and stock like 4 different handles of ratchets, and, you know, that's just insane. They do it here. Okay, they do it with jacks, they do it with floor stands, they do it with impacts that, again, bigger, heavier, and take up more space. So with a Hercules line, with a Bauer line, I'm not asking them to do that. Bauer is red, Hercules is blue, green, teal, whatever. You know, would I love to be able to get those like in different colors? Absolutely. But I don't expect it. That's what that is. You know, it's like, this is our Milwaukee competitor. This is sort of like the Makita, you know, higher end competitor. Why not the little ratchet? You know, that's my thoughts. Now, coming in, we're kind of sticking with that colors setup, if you will, that scenario. 5-drawer carts. Look at the colors, my lord. You've got white, you've got slate gray, you've got everything you get. Like this, if you walk in Harbor Freight short of you wanting like pink or purple for a hair salon, and don't laugh, I know a ton of people that do that, and some people actually like get them and paint them, by the way. But outside of like pink or purple is your jam, like this has you covered. Even if that's your case, you've got red, white, and yellow, I think you're going to be covered, right? But the color options here are insane. And they're, you know, again, you know, as a kid growing up, it's like everything is red. And then they had like the black Craftsman, and then they sometimes had gray. And then there towards the end of the catalog era, at least when I quit getting them, they had like the roller bearing ones that came out. And I mean, it was in colors and it like blew my mind, and so did the price. And that's why I have a red Craftsman from that era, right? So this is a deal where, again, the color options, and again, this is bigger and more cumbersome, maybe not as heavy, especially the 4 drawers and some of the single carts, but you get what I'm saying. Like, it takes up more space. Think of the number of ratchets you could fit just in this box. All right, or just on pallet rack or pegboard in the back type of a thing. And again, would I come in, I know this is the Pittsburgh, but like if I walked in and they're like, hey, did you really want this ratchet, sir? And I'm like, well, yeah, I wanted it in blue. And they say, oh, we can order that for you. Well, guess what? Unless I'm totally out of 3/8 ratchets, I'll wait. Or the manager says, well, hey, we just have the picture out front, but we, here, take one to the register type of a thing, lock them up, people don't steal them, whatever. I'd be game. I would totally be game for that. But this brings us back to our next point. In the U.S. General, it's not every color every time, but it's pretty comprehensive, right? We can come in, whatever you're buying, whether it's a single cart, 4 drawer, 5 drawer, 26, 44, it's really more of a 42, 56, 73, whatever you're getting, you've got color options. You've also, in this case, this one comes default with the black, which looks so much better in my opinion. But, with the blue, you've got the shiny trim. Some people love that, classic. But you can buy like 5-piece trim kit in black. I know, because I've got one and it doesn't fit the 4 drawer, which is why we painted it. But it's a situation where if you come into Icon, this is what you have. And you're like, oh, well, what's wrong with that? Black and chrome, man. Yeah, that's super cool. What if I want my box murdered out? Okay. And you're like, well, just get a different color. Okay. Do your blue again. It's like, oh, that looks really nice. I like that. But, I want this black. I just told you I preferred black trim. There's no black trim. And then you think, wait, what's that? That's black trim, dude. It totally is. But now the green guy, if he wants, like bright, shiny trim instead of black, he can't get it. And so there are I think you could come in here. I've had it pulled up before because I've considered doing it, but there are parts listed and there's black trim. But again, it's like, what are you going to pay for all of that to get it on this? Like when I'm spending $3,500 on a toolbox and I'm fine with the blue, but I want black trim, I don't want to have to pay another $100 to get black trim, right? I want it to come like I want it, and I'm not going to need this trim. Also, especially with the way these are split, like that's just gaudy to me, man. Like I'm a blackout or body color type of a person most of the time, and that's what I would want. I would want that, basically this trim on that box type of a deal, right? And some people might hate the green and black. I think it looks awesome. I think it's the best looking Icon box. But some of you might want the chrome shiny stuff there, right? Come into the Series 3 video that we made, right? Still nothing on those, sadly. But they're going to come standard with black trim, just like you saw in like sort of the latest 5 drawer in the slate gray, right? But if you recall back, you can get the shiny trim and you can get titanium trim. That's going to be available on a Series 3 U.S. General. Now, a Series 3 U.S. General, even in a 73, it's not going to approach this price point. Icon is the top of the line, and it costs considerably more, and yet it has fewer options, all right? It's kind of a deal where if you buy a Corvette, this is why, like, Camaros never outpace the Vet. It's a situation, if they did that, people would be livid, and then they would sell more Camaros, and, it's one of those types of things, right? The Corvette guy doesn't want to see his top-of-the-line engine be available in the Camaro for less money type of a deal, right? Maybe it's the same bones. Maybe, it's like this one has a slightly more boost than this one type of a deal. But you still, like, Icon should have the multiple trim choices first, or it should be there, and then it just follows suit down the line type of a thing. Sort of where I'm going with that. So in this case, again, it's just, this is the cream of the crop, the top of the line at Harbor Freight. The price reflects that, but it's a situation where you can't option it out as much as you can the mid-tier option, if you will, right? Considering Yukon being the lowest. Coming in next, this is real simple. Also, the price really did drop to $17.99. I tell you this all the time when stuff first, and these are like still super new. That's why there's new right there. Okay. It's one of those deals where so many times they'll launch and they sort of do like typically places would go up, right? Oh geez, we kind of botched that. Harbor Freight routinely does this and they go down. It's oftentimes not this subtle of a deal, but I mean, $2 is $2. If you're going to buy 4 pairs of pliers, you save $8, right? But what I want to highlight here, and I would have zero issue, this is one of the things, I've used these quite a bit. They're still in my bag at work. I said I was going to bring them home. I have not. They're still there. But it's a situation where I don't really have any qualms paying for this. But, again, let's come down here. This is what we're looking for. Icon versus Snap-on. Okay, nice comparison, similar products, probably because this is kind of like the Pliers wrench. It's a knockoff of it. You see all the stuff, you see the price difference, but here's the deal. Okay, this is where these really don't compare at all, and it's not just price. I would never, ever, for my personal life, maybe at work, but not for my personal life, get red handle pliers as a first choice. Blue, absolutely, if they're available. They're usually not outside of channel lock, and that's not really like the blue, right? But I would get green, I would get orange, I would probably get black before I would get red, but it's not a choice at all for the $17.99. Again, these take up so much less space than floor jacks, toolboxes, and jack stands. And it's going to pull people in. And another thing I will give them credit for, like right here, you see a 3-piece set. This you can buy standalone. If you want to try Icon pliers and this is your first pick because you're a super supporter of cross hatching like I am, and you're like, man, those were really good pliers for $18, and you're like, I'm going to come in and try their side cutters type of a deal, right? Wouldn't you rather have that same benefit by having this pair of pliers with green handles, and then that guy is like, I don't know, $18, I don't really need pliers, but it would be nice to try them, and the green handles sell it to them. Because again, if I come in right here to Harbor Freight and you're like, oh, those are all red handles, you moron. Well, yeah, until I keep scrolling, and then we can get green and we can get orange. You can probably find high vis, down here for gosh sakes, there's pink, right? Depends what size of plier and what style. You can find even more handle options, but it's not like we're shooting for the moon here. They don't have like 16 different colors Snap-on can slide on there for you. Just the basics, just more than red. You know what I mean? And that's something, again, that I feel like at this point in time, I realize this is a new product, but going with how long Icon's been on the market and in stores, should be available to people. Even if it's a deal where it's in the back, or, it's like, well, if you don't want to buy the red one, we can order it and it'll probably be here next week. Do it. Heck, even if they did it on a trial basis, online only, you have to come in, add it to your cart like you're buying from Capri or Tecton or something. I think people would do it, and I think it's something that needs to be done. Now, coming in right here, near and dear to longtime viewers of the channel, screwdrivers. Why do I not have an Icon screwdriver? Well, quite simply, I'm not going to buy this set. Okay, this could be a great set, it could be a beater set, it could become like wow, I'm really happy I bought that, they're way better than I thought, and I love the handle set. I don't know how I feel about them because I've never used one, and my target would be right here, or I guess right here, the number 2 Phillips. Looks like standard 4-inch shaft, same configuration. I don't know if the handle's comfortable. I don't know if it's awesome. I don't know if I'd hate it. I'm not even in this case. Would I prefer to buy this in blue, green, orange, some other color? Absolutely. That still hasn't happened. But come in right here and you can see there's no box to order spare parts, standalone replacements, anything like that. So I can't just buy that. I'm not going to spend $50 to get a number 2 Phillips, okay? Like if this was like the only way in the world to get like a Stavilla screwdriver, I might consider it. But this is Icon. I'm not going to do that. I would gladly pay maybe even $10 just to try the dang thing. That's the type of person I am, but I can't do that. I don't need the others, they might come in handy at times. We could do certain things with them, but that's all I'm really interested in. And it's locked up in a set where I can't get it. Okay, that's literally right there. You have to buy all his buddies, and I'm not ready to commit to that type of a deal. And typically, I'm not saying you can walk in and get like a number 3 Phillips everywhere, but a slotted driver of some random pre-selected size pairs with a number 2 Phillips, and you can get that like almost universally across the board. Pick your brand, walk into Home Depot or Lowe's, go online, whatever you want to do, and you'll find it, whether it's a demo driver set, whether it's like a feel out set type of thing. And they do that because if you can buy a Phillips and a slotted for $10 and someone uses them and they're like, man, I was kind of taking a flyer on these, I actually like them, or man, my screwdriver set is so old I forgot what it's like to have a proper fitting tip. I got to go get the set. I got to expand out, and maybe you don't need all this stuff, but maybe the guy needs like the big slotted and a number 1 Phillips, and he wants stubbies of both sizes. It's locked up in a set. It should be available standalone in the different color schemes. If we come in here, Matco. Okay, I'm not super thrilled with them because their Ratchet was an abomination, but it looked good. But look at this. And again, I would not buy these because I know the OE and I know where to source the OE for way better prices. But they offer, to their credit, colors. Again, red, orange, green, high-vis, blue. The blue is actually pretty cool, right? I'll give them that. Looks really nice. But again, with VIT, kind of changing things up, you can get something real similar to that for way less than $280. But they have colors. They're Ratchets. Look, that one we brought in, the black chrome, I love it aesthetically. It's like the dream boat. It just does not function properly, which is a shame. And I'll never forgive them for that. But it's a situation here where, like, you can pick out what you want, right? Coming over in here to Mac territory. We brought these in the past. You've seen them appear a few times. Little proto, iterations. You got green, you got orange. The Maximizer, you got hard handle grips. There's choices for people. And I feel like again, launch with it. Understandable, read your choice, make sure it's not like a total flop or something, seeing how people like them. If they have feedback, you're going to take to heart and change things. But for goodness sakes, at this point in time, how long have these been out? This is one of the first things they launched, I believe. Can we do oldest? Yes, we can. So the oldest review on the Icon screwdrivers, March 10th, 2020, almost 3 years now. And you would think, like, just make this green, make that orange, make it tie in, even with the Icon toolbox colors or something, right? And those are things I would like to see. Something else I would like to see from Icon if we come back. I've taken this away, haven't I? Like, I was pretty hard. I've got several videos where since I never got to make this video where I was going to complain about the trays, I was pretty hard on the trays. I didn't like them. I wasn't a fan. I've since learned to appreciate them more, in part because these are really long and it's like super hard to find anything that fits them worth a ding. But I still think, kind of do what Capri does, okay? You come in over here, and if we back out to their sets on page 1, if you want the Westling tray, you can get the Westling tray. Sometimes you got to watch your sales, because even though you'd think you'd pay extra, you can actually get a better deal. But that's aside from the point. You can pick if you want this, or you can pick if you want the sockets only. You can pick if you want foam. You can pick if you want like a plastic case, Tecton. You want your Ernst rails. Do you just want them in a box and you save $10? I say that because there's a lot of people that will throw that away and never use it, have no intentions of ever using it, never regret that, nothing they've bought since fits the wrenches quite as well. They're like, that's too much space, not doing it. If you shave the $10 off, just across the board, we'll just give $10 for the sockets, swivel sockets, wrenches, ratcheting, or everything, you might get more sales, right? It's one of those things, like if Snap-on's got this set for, $459 and then they take the tray away and it's for $420, maybe that difference is a sale for them, right? I don't know, but it's something that I think, like, again, I get it. They have to prevent theft in the store. That's like a people problem, not a Harbor Freight problem, but they're packed very well. They're presented very well, but maybe in the back have like just boxed wrenches, and ready to go, and the guy saves a little bit type of a deal. But with that said, I think we've gone way longer than I intended to. And I do hope you have enjoyed, or you've thought of some things. You're like, man, yeah, he's right. I would buy that. Like, I saw his video, and I don't need a pair of freaking slip joint pliers. But you know what? If they were green handles, I think I'd try them, just because, he made that crosshatch seem pretty good. Or, I've never had a 3-position pair of pliers, just like in my case, right? So it's just a deal where, again, I don't say this as someone that hates Harbor Freight. I like Harbor Freight. I actually enjoy going in there more than I do like the big box stores, the lumberyard places. KC Tool, you don't really have like brick and mortar stores all over that I can go into and complain about the stock in one town versus the other one. But it's a situation where, like, I enjoy it. I like Harbor Freight. I would like to see them, do good and develop products. I'd still like to see them like make stuff in America, at some point in time. Maybe they're working towards that. Who knows? It's another story for another day. But offer colors, like at this price point, super good. I'd have zero issues. The only thing I would say is, like, you can probably take your pick of pliers. Like, channel lock's not that far away, but again, maybe you like the grip, maybe it's easier to get to, maybe the lumberyards tick you off and you don't like self-checkout lines that never work and you're treated like a criminal type of a thing. Not speaking from personal experience or anything, but it's just a deal where I think this, as they position Icon, they really, really need to make this stuff happen. Expand the colors, add colors, do individual tools, make those available, and then they need to have more options, right? Where a guy can just piecemeal his own set together. And there's ways to do that. There's ways to test it out. Online only, store order only, and then branched out and be like, wow, we're really, really shipping some volume with this. We should probably just have this stuff on site at the stores. Those are my thoughts on it. And again, like I said, I've been overall with the Icon stuff I've been pretty happy with it. And some of it we've had a little longer than others. Some of it is like still super new. Some of it you haven't even seen in videos, and I try not to talk about it so I don't spoil anything. But at the time I wanted to make this video, I owned nothing from Icon. And then, of course, when they came out with the Pliers wrench knockoff, that sort of like shifted it. And then it was like, man, those ratcheting stubbies are a pretty good deal. And no one else had them in stock, to Harbor Freight's credit. And we haven't even had those a year, I don't think. But they've been really good in the short time I've had them. I can't complain. So this is just stuff I would like to see from Icon. Obviously, I want the sizes flipped and laser etching because, again, top of the line, you can get Pittsburgh sock. This is another great comparison. Flipped or inverted, that's personal preference, but like when you can get Pittsburgh and Pittsburgh Pro and it has roll stamping and laser etching and your top of the line doesn't, that's a problem. But with that said, I'm going to try to end this so I can get it rendered out and get something else to drink. I don't think this water's cutting me over very well. But like I said, I've wanted to make this and discuss this for quite a while. Curious what you think on it. And let me know, like, do you agree with this? Do you disagree with it? Would you come in and would you be like me and you would buy that 15/16 Icon, and then if you're like 2 months out at work and you're like, man, this thing's held up pretty good, and you needed, somebody stole your toolbox at home and you're like, man, I need like some 1/2-inch impacts, that might be the reason you go to Harbor Freight and buy a set, because of your experience with a singular standalone tool. Some of you, might not have tried Icon at all. If that 3/8 flex head ratchet was available with a green handle, you might pick it up and be like, man, this is actually pretty good. Some of you might be like, this is like the exact same thing as my Pittsburgh Pro, or it's close enough and the Pittsburgh saves me $20, but hey, it's a decent ratchet. You don't know until you try it. And I think the more opportunity you give people to put their foot in the door and try something out, the more opportunity you have to increase sales and win people over. But yeah, that is that. I'm completely losing my voice here. I apologize for that. But we're going to wrap it up so I can get a drink. Again, I'm very, very curious on what your thoughts are on this front. Again, if I want a singular 15/16 socket from Snap-on, I can do it. If I want to go to my suppliers at work, I can get one across multitudes of brands. I can buy a single socket from Wright. We can do it from Capri. We can do it from Tecton. Why can't we do that here? Right? Same thing with wrenches. If I want to buy a 1/2 and a 9/16 wrench, I can do that. Across the board with professional tools, I can do that. Not on Amazon. We can't go and like get a cheap import set torn down and just get two. But like professional grade stuff, if I just want one wrench, I can do that. If I want one screwdriver, I can do that. So I kind of feel like they're shooting themselves in the foot a little bit. And given what they do, I mean, like, it's fantastic with the colors on the toolboxes, on the floor jacks, the jack stands, particularly, you know, like the air impacts and everything. I think it's time that they seriously consider and put it into place to expand color options on the Icon line. So let me know your thoughts on that stuff. I'll quit rambling. Thanks so much for watching. 2/22/2023, 60 degrees. That's the real temperature, and it's like 40-mile-an-hour wind. If you've heard anything in the background, it was the wind, or giant tumbleweeds hitting the house. I don't know. But with that said, I got to go. Hope you enjoyed. I hope I catch you back here Saturday for more action from the shop. And with that said, let me know your thoughts. We'll catch you back here on Saturday.